Yo, what's good? I'm Ndubisi Okoye, multidisciplinary creative, muralist, creative director, and designer. I'm jumping on here because y'all had so many questions and I got some answers for you guys. The first question I'm gonna answer is, what kind of projector do I use? I've been using this Optima X600 since about 2017 on a mural. I started using it for a mural called Detroit is a Black Woman. I bought it then. This is more of a home projector. It's not really made for doing murals or whatever, but I don't think any projector was made for doing murals back then. But it was pretty dope. It's not that great with very wide distances. So just recently, like in the last couple of months, I invested in this P6U on recommendation from a creative you guys probably know as Detour. He's a really dope muralist out of Denver, Colorado. And he recommended this. With the Optima, you need a power source, or you would need to rent a generator if you're on site doing a mural. With the P6U, you don't need a generator. This one, you just charge it and it goes off of its own power. You can connect to it wirelessly. You don't need the HDMI cord and all that other stuff you need with a typical projector. So that's why I invested in this one. I haven't used it yet. I've kind of been rocking out using the Doodle Grid for the last couple projects I've been on. The one on 6 Mile in Detroit and the one in Tucson, Arizona. I used the Doodle Grid for both of those because I didn't have much time to get a projector and get it to the location in time. And I love using the Doodle Grid, but it is very time consuming. And I usually finish my murals in 7 to 10 days. And it kind of eats up time, so it can give me a little anxiety by not having my outline done fast enough. One person asked, would I do projects for the public? I think my murals are for the public, unless they meant something different by that, I'm not necessarily sure, but my murals are for the public. I usually have some type of community paint day on a lot of my murals, and I like to have a lot of community engagement while I'm creating a mural, so the people in the community that I'm painting the mural in can have a sense of pride in the piece, and also feel like it's their piece as well because it's in the community. One person asked, what drew me to this style of art? What drew me to my specific style of art is just a lot of my influences. And they range from everywhere. Tristan Eaton is a big piece of my inspiration. Sidney James, Rashawn Rucker, Tyler Sawyer, Sinclair Reed. There's so many people. I draw a lot of my influence as well from anime. I really love anime. I loved it since I was a kid. Graffiti, I really love graffiti. So it kind of plays into a little bit of my hand lettering style. But I have so many influences that honestly it would be hard to try to recount all of them, but those are just some of them. Somebody asked, what other things besides art are you passionate about? I'm passionate about my Christian faith. I'm passionate about being a good father, a good husband. I'm passionate about design. I'm passionate about advertising. I'm passionate about putting the homies on, whether creatively or from an advertising standpoint, getting them jobs. I'm passionate about other creators being paid fairly. I'm passionate about anime. I'm passionate about hip hop, rap. I'm a big fan of Cole and Kendrick, and Drake too, but not so much so. I'm a big fan of R&B. Like, there's so many things I'm passionate about, but those are just some of the things. I'm also passionate about poetry. I used to do poetry a long time ago, but I wasn't a big fan of the slam style. I'm more in tune with the writing, so I kind of drifted away from that in my creative life. But I always love hearing poetry, reading some good poetry when I get a chance. So those are some of the things I'm passionate about. Somebody asks, how do you figure out what kind of vibe a mural should have in order to fit the neighborhood it's in? I don't know how to answer that. I don't really go about my murals that way. I kind of just start my murals by doing a lot of research on the community that it's in, the people that live there. Very like demographics heavy, like what's the ethnic makeup of the neighborhood, what was it historically, who lives there currently, what's the socioeconomic status of the community now, and from there I try to engage with the community, usually virtually, just trying to figure out what stories are interesting to them from the community, usually based on history. I really love history. And from there, I kind of just create an image or like some type of story around the information that they give me, and I put my style on it. Like, my style changes throughout the years. If you look back at my very, very old work, a lot of the things that are depicted are black women and just regular people, and they all have blue faces and I have like black and white outlines all throughout the work. That was just my style back then. Now my stuff is more vibrant and more colorful and more in your face, because I mean that's how my personality has shifted, I guess. Like I just doubled down on just being myself and just leaning fully into that. So that kind of developed my style into what it is now. But I don't really pick a style depending on the neighborhood. I kind of let the neighborhood tell me what they want, and then I figure out how I can create an image that represents that in the best possible way. Last question was, what kind of paint do I use? I use whatever paint is available. I ain't gonna hold you. But specifically, I like to use, if I can, Montana 94. It's a more low pressure can than Montana Gold, which is kind of like the gold standard, if you will. But I like 94 because it's lower pressure. It's fairly cheaper than Montana Gold, and the coverage is more opaque than Montana Gold for some reason. So I like using that paint a lot. There's also Montana Black, which is a little more heavy and it's more expensive as well. I use that a little bit, but not as much as I use 94. And I'll use regular house paint as well, interior or exterior, depending on the project. But if I can use spray paint, I love Montana 94. That was all the questions you guys had. If you have any more questions, throw them in the comment section and I'll jump into them on my next video. I hope that this inspires you to do something dope today. Peace. Man, I cut my granny off if you know how I see it.